today I thought I would tell you about some books that I intend to read this summer, and also some books that I have enjoyed in previous summers. I'm a mood reader, so I'm not sure I'm gonna get to all of these books. Actually, at least 2 of these books are from a previous summer TBR because I didn't get to them that summer. This year I have quite a few exciting books that I really want to read, and all of these I picked from my collection because I'm trying not to buy more books than I read. The first 3 books that I have in here are my favorite summer books from previous years, and 2 of them I read last year, and one of them is one of my all-time favorite books, even though I haven't read it in years. So the first one is very famous. It's Bonjour Tristesse by Françoise Sagan. This is a French author, and the book is set in the south of France. My favorite thing about this book was definitely the descriptions of summer, not just the heat, but also the feeling that time slows down, and every day you wake up and you don't have plans, and it just feels like every day is full of infinite potential. The plot in this book is quite unhinged, I would say. The main character does some things that I don't think any reader would approve of, but I don't think that ruins the book at all. And in fact, it points to another thing about summer, which is that at least when we are young, we feel like just one summer of our lives can be life-changing. Like, we're at school looking forward to summer and we think, this is gonna be the best summer ever. This summer is gonna change my life. I have so much free time. I can do anything I want. I can be whoever I want. And I think this book really expresses that, and I really love it. Then we have a really short but exciting one. This is The Invention of Morale, and I went into this book knowing basically nothing about it, but this one was such a pleasant surprise. Like, this was definitely a found gem. So in this book, the main character is running away from something, and he chooses to go to this island that is said to be haunted, and the reason why he chooses to go there is so that he's not found, because he doesn't think anyone will go there because of the stories behind the island. So he goes there, and for the first half of the book we don't really know what's happening. It's very confusing. At some point I was just, asking myself, like, what am I reading? Why am I reading this? But something just kept pulling me through, also because it's so short. And almost exactly at the midpoint, something clicks and the story just becomes so wild from there. I don't want to give a lot of spoilers because I really enjoyed going into it without knowing much, but what can I say to convince you to read this? The way this book ties up all the threads is incredible, and the prologue was written by Jorge Luis Borges. I'm mixing Portuguese and Spanish there. What can I say? Just, this book is 100% worth it. I was so amazed, by the way it is wrapped up. I feel like I'm not doing a good job explaining this book to you, mostly because I don't want to, give away too much, but it's amazing. And next I have one which I have recommended to you before. This is The Seas by Samantha Hunt, and I always recommend that people read this at the end of summer, so like around September, when you're starting to feel the cozy vibes, but it's still super hot. And this is set in a kind of bleak and deserted coastal town, and we follow our main character who believes she's a mermaid. I don't want to give away much more than that, to be honest. This book doesn't really have a plot. You will see that's a tendency in the books that I'm currently reading or recommending, because I really enjoy character-driven books, and this is one of them. But yeah, she thinks she's a mermaid. She really wants to escape the town and go back to the sea. I really want to reread this one. I don't know if I will this summer, but now that I'm talking about it, I just want to reread it really badly, so maybe I will. So those three were some of my favorite summer books of all time. With that out of the way, I'm gonna tell you about the books that are on my TBR for this summer. The first one we have here is The Driver's Seat by Muriel Spark. This book, just like, first of all, look at that cover. It's... I love it. Like, this cover was the reason why I bought this book. But basically, we are following an office worker who finally, after years of not taking any vacation, decides to go on vacation. And her personality is kind of quirky. I've already started this, that's why I know. Basically, I think her vacation does not go the way she expects it to, and some crazy stuff happen. Yeah, I might be doing a really bad job at explaining books, but right now I'm at a place where she's still at the airport, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know it's gonna be crazy. So next we have Pond by Claire Louise Bennett, and this one, what do I know about it? First of all, it's a Fitzcarraldo edition, and I was gonna say that I really trust Fitzcarraldo because for a while I did, but then I read The Disappearing Act and I didn't like it at all. So now I'm not sure, but I got this one because it's set in a coastal town, I believe. And what do I know about it? I don't know much. I like the title, Pond. I really don't know anything about this book except that it's set in coastal town. But I guess that's enough for me. I'm really excited for this one. And it's literary fiction, of course, which I love. And I've heard really good things about the writing in this one. Next, we have the two books that were in previous summer TBRs for me. The first one is The Talented Mr. Ripley. This is definitely the summer I'm gonna get to this book. Like 100%, believe me. I think it might even be the second one I get to this summer after The Driver's Seat. Basically, we follow Tom Ripley, and he's, I think, like a normal guy who gets mixed up with rich people, and he starts fooling those people, I guess in order to get more money, or yeah, basically he's I think he's supposed to be like really smart and witty, and yeah, that's all I know. We'll see. And the next one is Outline by Rachel Cusk. So I started reading this one more than once, and I don't know why, I've just never been able to get into it. There are so many people who like Rachel Cusk and like her books, so I really want to give it another try. I did dog ear 3 pages of this already, so there's something in it for me. But I don't know, I just always felt like stopping before when I read it. Yeah, I hope this time I will be in the mood for it. And next we have short books, mostly. The first one is A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr. This one I think is very popular. It's about a man who goes to rural England, I believe, to spend a month there. I'm not sure why or what he does there the whole time, but yeah, it's just a short little book. People say this is very summery, so yeah, I'm excited for that one. And I guess I should say that I really love books where seemingly nothing happens and you just observe the character go through their life, and I think this is kind of gonna be like that. Next we have The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. I bought this book because it's about time travel, I guess. I just really like time travel and time anomalies as plot devices, I guess. I don't know if this book is particularly summery, but I think summer is a really good time to read short books. Short books, you can just put them in your tote bag and take them to the beach or the park. And then we have The Decay of Lying by Oscar Wilde. And this one is non-fiction. What is it about? I don't know exactly what it's about. Obviously, it's about lying. Yeah, I have no idea what this is about. I'm just interested to read some great ideas, which is the name of this collection. And then we have 2 more books on my TBR. The first one is Hojoki by Kamuno Chome. This one is in Portuguese, but you can also find it in English. This book was written, I believe, in the 12th century? Oh, in the 13th century. And it's basically just a Japanese man who goes to stay in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, I guess, isolated from the world. And it's just his reflections on that experience. Another thing about me is that I really like reading about isolated characters. For me, a book that has only one character is not a problem at all. Like, I love it. I really love it. So, looking forward to it. The final book that I have to read this summer is by a Portuguese author, Essa de Queiroz, and it's called The Mandarin. This book sounds really interesting. I think it's kind of a murder mystery, but it has sci-fi elements or supernatural elements. Again, I don't know much about it, and that's the way I prefer to go into my books, but I think it's about bringing a man back to life and trying to find out who murdered that man. And this is set in Lisbon, which I think is really interesting for me as a Portuguese person, of course. And I don't know, I don't know if this is a summer book, but again, it's a short book. Yeah, I think this will be a fun read. Last but not least, I showed you those books that are on my TBR, and all of them can be found in English. But then I also have a... This just stopped. Sorry about that. I was saying, but then I still have 3 books that I'm not sure you can find them in English, but I still wanted to mention them because, you know, I plan on reading them, and maybe some of you speak Portuguese, or... So yeah, I wanted to mention them really quickly. The first one is Os Pescadores by Raul Brandão. This is non-fiction, and I have already started reading it, but I'm reading it slowly because, again, it's non-fiction and it's just a collection of short pieces all about the Portuguese coast and the ancient tradition of fishing, and also how Portuguese people used to rely on the sea, but at the same time they couldn't do it throughout the whole year. It's just really good, I think, for someone who wants to get to know Portugal a little better, and the descriptions here are just stunning. Then we have Sofia de Mel Briner Anderson, Dia do Mar, so the day of the sea. And this is a poetry collection. I really want to read all of Sofia de Mel Briner Anderson's poetry and also her fiction. And the last one I want to talk about is As Praias de Portugal by Ramalho Ortigão. And this is also non-fiction, and I haven't read anything by this author yet, but I really like reading about the sea and the coast, so that's why I picked this one up. So these are all of the books. If you have any book recommendations, I'm always open to hear. Also, let me know what you will be reading this summer. I'll see you next time.